The first thing you want to do is prepare your cakes as directed in your box. I started preparing my chocolate cake first, and then I moved on to my vanilla cake. Once your batter is all done, you want to place a piece of parchment paper onto your cake pan. I greased it up with a little nonstick spray just to make sure everything comes out. You want to divide your batter evenly among the two. So now you want to bake your cake according to your box. Mine says 350 degrees. Yours could say different. But just bake your cakes. So now I'm preparing my vanilla cake mix. And you just want to do the same thing. Prepare it and pop it into the oven. Meanwhile, let's do our vanilla buttercream. I put in my butter and whisk it up for 5 minutes. Then I put a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream and I'm going to whip it up for another 2 minutes or so. Don't forget to keep scraping down the sides so everything gets incorporated. Little by little, I'm adding in my heavy whipping cream. Don't forget that all the full measurements are going to be down below in the description box. Now I'm adding in my vanilla extract. Now you want to add in your powdered sugar. I'm adding 1 cup at a time. When you see that it starts to thicken up, you want to add another tablespoon of your heavy whipping cream. And keep adding your powdered sugar. Now that your buttercream is nice and spreadable, you want to put it in a bowl and pop it in the fridge for a few minutes. Now you want to whip up your butter for about 5 minutes, and then you want to add 2 tablespoons of your heavy whipping cream and whip it up for another 2 minutes. Now I'm going to be adding in my vanilla extract along with half of my cocoa powder and powdered sugar. I sifted it in before I put it in. And then you just want to add the rest of your sugar. Now that everything is incorporated, I am going to be adding my melted chocolate. I did this 10 minutes ago just to make sure it cools before I add it in, or else it's going to melt the butter. And just fold it in. This frosting is not too rich, neither too sweet. It's just perfect. I just placed it into a bowl and pop it into the fridge for a few minutes. Now for our delicious coffee buttercream, I am adding my coffee into my hot boiling water and just mix it in. Now you want to place your butter into your mixing bowl and whip it up. I whipped it up for 5 minutes, then added all my heavy whipping cream and whipped it up for another 3 or 4 minutes. You're going to see it starts crumbling up once you added your heavy whipping cream. So what I did, I whisked it up by hand just till it gets nice and creamy. Once it gets nice and creamy, you want to grab your hand mixer again and just do what we were doing. Once it gets to this texture, you know you're done whipping it up. Now I'm going to be adding my powdered sugar. You want to whip it up just till everything is incorporated. Now this part is more to your liking. Add as many teaspoons to achieve the flavor you want. Now I'm adding some coffee creamer. Now you want to put your buttercream into another bowl and pop it into the fridge. So now you just want to level your cake. You don't have to throw away your domes. A suggestion I have, you can make cake pops. So now I'm just gonna brush my cakes with simple syrup. Simple syrup is just basically equal amounts of water and sugar boiled and cooled completely. I did 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of water boiled and cooled completely, as I said. Now, so your cake can stick to the cake board, I'm just adding a little buttercream and placing my cake on top. I'm starting off with vanilla. This piece kind of broke, so I decided to put it in the very bottom. Now I'm just adding my chocolate buttercream and spreading it around my cake. Now with the piping bag and a round tip, I'm going to add my chocolate frosting and outline my cake only on the edges with the frosting so it sticks better. Now for the second layer of my cake, I'm placing a chocolate cake, and for that filling, I'm going to use my coffee buttercream. Now again, I'm going to add the rest of my coffee buttercream into a piping bag and outline my cake with the frosting. I'm going to be adding my vanilla cake, and as you can see, yes, I did a little pattern. Vanilla, chocolate, vanilla, chocolate. My cake decided to break once I placed it on top. That was a sad part, but you know, just put frosting, it'll stick back. I decided to flip my cake over, like the dome part down and, you know, the very flat side up. For this part, you can tell I did not outline my cake. You'll see why in just a few seconds. When I was taking my cake out of my pan, it kind of sticked right there, so I just filled it in with frosting. So now you want to place your buttercream into a piping bag, and I just placed a little dollop on top. Just save it, don't even mess with it right now. As you can see, a blob of frosting fell. Wah wah wah. But you know, you could just pick it up. For this piping bag, I did not add a piping tip. I just snipped the tip off, and I'm just filling in the gaps there is so I can easily do a crumb coat. Now I'm just taking a large offset spatula and blending everything around. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it even blends in, because, you know, it's just a crumb coat. It's not the finished look. I'm sorry my hand was in the way. I'll try to fix that next time, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. If you don't know what a crumb coat is basically a thin layer of frosting to catch all the crumbs. So in your finished look, there's not all these crumbs. Now with my darkest shade of frosting, I'm gonna outline the cake till all my chocolate frosting is done. I forgot to mention to place it into the fridge once you're done doing the crumb coat for about an hour, and then you can take this step. Don't worry if your lines aren't perfect. The police officer is not going to come to your house and judge your lines on your cake. So you can practically see where we're going. We're basically doing the 3 shades from darkest to lightest all over the cake, and you'll see. Wait up. Have patience. We're getting there. You can make more frosting if you desire, but I don't like such a sweet cake. So this was enough for me. I think it would have turned out better if I used more frosting, but the taste is all it matters. Well, to me it is. But if you want a pretty cake, just make more frosting. Double the recipe. What I did with the extra frosting I was placing over there in my little cup, I put it into a piping bag, and just the 3 colors, and then I just did a little swirls on top of my cake. As you can see, it doesn't look like super pretty, but I promise you it is so just having a really tongue twisting day, a really delicious cake. So I hope you try it out. Thank you for watching.